Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon or good evening. Welcome to week 6 of Sports Management English. I hope that you're all having a great, lovely week now that our spring weather is here. I hope that everything is going good for you guys. I see many of the sports business over drinking in Songhanup. Please be careful and take care of your health in this difficult time. But it does seem like everybody is feeling a little bit better and feeling a little bit happier. Some people are getting a chance to come out of their house, right? So that is good. Well, this is week 6. We are now about 50% finished with the semester, and as you know, we haven't had a chance to have a real inside class this semester, unfortunately, and it looks like maybe the whole semester is going to be canceled. We don't know yet, but this week I'm hoping that we do get our chance to try our online Zoom class, right? Our online Zoom class. So we're going to do that this week. It's not mandatory that you attend Zoom class. You don't have to come to Zoom class, but it would be really nice so that I get to know you. And students who I know very well, I can judge your participation very well in Zoom class. Now, I don't know how long Zoom class is going to take. Maybe I didn't pay for it yet, so we're going to do maybe 40 minutes, 40분, and then break time, it's going to kick us out. We're going to wait 10 more minutes on your break, and then we'll go back in. Okay, so that's how Zoom class is going to work, I think. We'll talk about it more when we actually open it up. Okay, but as you can see, the photo that I've chosen this week is the soccer ball hitting the net. What does that mean? That means goal. This week is all about achieving our goal. Well, what is our goal this week? Well, let's talk about that. I think you guys know this week is going to be our big review week. So today we're reviewing. What exactly are we reviewing for, you might ask? What exactly are we reviewing for? Great question. Well, today's agenda, like I said, we're going to have a little review of weeks 1 through weeks 5. We've covered a lot of material. You guys do not have a textbook, but we've been covering, I think, a lot of things as I designed this class to fit everything that we talked about in Sports Business English, right? So things about conversation and grammar, things about culture, business culture, and things about sports, right? So 3 different sections each week that we've talked about. Some of those things are going to be more important on the midterm, and some of those things are going to be very similar to what you already have done on the quiz. So it's not much different. If you did well on the quiz, I think you'll do well on the midterm. Some students did not do very well on that midterm. I'm sorry, some students did not do very well on the quiz, but many students did get A's on the quiz. So I saw a lot of A's, I saw a few B's, and I saw a couple of bad scores. Maybe it was just a little bit difficult for you. Don't get scared. It's worth only 2.6% of your grade, the quiz. It's worth only 2.6% of the grade for your quiz. So it's not a big deal for right now. Okay. However, the quiz is going to be worth more, right? The midterm test is going to be worth more. The midterm test is worth a lot more. So this one is more important, okay? And then we're going to have some different reminders about the quiz and some things that you need to do, okay? So, and maybe if we have time, we're going to go over the answers to the quiz because most people should have already taken it by now, right? It was 2 weeks ago. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. So the midterm test, as you can see there, I have one of my favorite characters, Dwight Schrute from The Office, American sitcom, American drama. He says, pass the midterms without studying. False. It's impossible for many students to pass the midterms without studying. So I hope that you have already been studying for this midterm, since this class is related to your major. I know some of you don't need to study. You're so smart and you remember everything from the lectures, so that's good. Congratulations if you do. But many students, it's going to be very important to study, right? Okay. The midterm test is going to be April 23rd from 12 p.m. until April 27th at 11:59 p.m. So please take it by this time, please, 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 so that we can go over the answers in the week after next week in class, so that we can go over all of the answers. It takes about 120 minutes. That's the time limit. So you have 2 hours to take it. 2 hours should be more than enough to take this test. 2 hours should be more than enough to take this test. There are 50 questions on the test. Again, they all come from the PowerPoint lessons, the video lessons that we've been doing. Many of them are very, very similar, as I said before, to the quiz questions. So 50 questions, I think it's not too much. Most of them are multiple choice. There are a little bit different ones, but most of them will be multiple choice. So you don't have to write in the answers in most cases. Okay, you can take it at the online portal, namsolenglish.neolms.com. Go to assignments, then go to midterm test, and then press take now. If you start the test, you must finish it. Okay? If there's some kind of problem, please let me know, but in general, if you have started the test, then you must finish it. Okay, so don't open it up unless you are ready to finish it. Okay, as I said, if you started, you must finish it. So we're going to spend some time about reviewing things that we have already discussed in class. Okay, things that we discussed on weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're not really going to learn anything new today, because I want to spend this time reviewing what you guys should already know. So I hope you're looking at those old videos. They're all still up on YouTube. So I want to ask, I want you to know for the test, why are greetings important in English? Well, what is a greeting? Well, a greeting is, hello, how are you, where are you from, nice to meet you, good to meet you, pleasure to meet you. So I want you to think about, why are they important in business? Remember, they establish the relationships between co-workers and others, right? Are we peer? Is this my boss? Is this my senior? How should I relate to this person? Just like normally, they establish the relationships between people at school or people in families. They also can establish work relationships. All relationships begin with the greetings, right? All relationships begin with the greetings, and they make first impressions. What's a first impression? What is a first impression? Well, a first impression is the way that someone makes you feel when you first see them. They have a positive effect. They should, because they can't be undone. after we make our first impression, then it's very difficult to change our mind. So if I meet you and you're late the first time I meet you, I'm going to maybe in the back of my mind, I'm probably going to remember, oh, late guy. This is late girl, late guy. So they're important because of the effect they have on people, being they cannot be changed. So if you make a polite and nice greeting, then we can have a good effect on people and have a good working relationship that has many advantages. And it helps us make decisions about trust, whether we can trust this person. Right? So this is not very different from Korean culture, I think, but I want to know that you're able to talk about these things or understand these things a bit in English. Okay, so rules of English business greetings. We might have something on here, some fill in the blanks, where you have to write in the correct words. And this is one part where we might have something that is that's not a multiple choice. Okay, we might have a little bit in here that is not multiple choice. So the types of business introductions. The first one is called self to peer. Self to peer. What is self to peer? Well, that is introducing yourself to your peer, who is someone who is about equal to you. Someone who you work with or who works at another company who has about the same status as you. They're not higher than you. They're not lower than you. They're approximately the same. Remember, though, we said in American culture it's a little bit different, that the levels are not as important as they are in places like Korea and Japan. But they still do exist. So that's why we have the second category, self to senior. So introducing yourself to someone who is senior to you, that is, has not necessarily older than you, but has a higher position in the company than you do. And in this case, they require some more respect, more politeness. And then the third one is about peer-to-peer. So that's introducing to other people who are your equals to each other. So to other people who are your equals, introducing them to each other, right? It's also quite important to introduce other people, not only yourself. And in this case, you need to remember to introduce them and make sure that they don't know each other. Make sure that they already haven't met. So you're going to ask something like, have you two met before? Okay, well, this is John and this is Mary. Nice to meet you, John. Nice to meet you, Mary. And so on. It's about, again, establishing the group. So another part of review is introducing yourself to another peer. So we're going to go through this. Something on the test might look like this. So an example, Lisa says, hello, I don't believe we've met before. So in this case, believe means think. I don't think we've met before. I don't believe we've met before. I'm Lisa Park from Ottawa, Canada. You already probably know Ottawa is the capital city of Canada. Joyce says, pleasure to meet you. Pleasure means like happy to meet you. I'm Joyce Wang, but you can call me Joyce. I'm from Beijing. And then Lisa says, nice to meet you too. So again, this is your peer. You don't have to be very, very polite to them. You don't know them very well, but you know this person is not much, much higher than you. They're not lower than you. They're basically the same. You can treat them friendly and equal. So I want you to be able to maybe fill in some of these words on the test. Fill in some of these words on this. Now, I'm not going to make you know the capital of Canada on the test. So you should know the capital of Canada and the capital of China, the capital of most large countries that do business with Korea. However, I'm not going to ask that on the test, but I will ask you to be able to fill in these words properly. Fill in these words properly, okay? I think not too hard for you guys. Many of you are quite good at English, and we have done this before. We have done this before. Remember also, you can use these PowerPoints when you do the test, but you only have 2 hours. So please use them wisely. Use them wisely, okay? Don't take too long. If you're going to use the PowerPoint to answer every question, then it's going to take you a very, very long time. So use your time wisely. I hope you already know these things before you start to take the test. Okay? Okay, good. So the next one, we said introducing yourself to another peer. The next one is going to be, what is it, do you think? What kind of introduction, what kind of greeting are you going to do for the next one? Did you guess it? Tell me. That's right. Peer to senior. Introducing your peer to a senior. So Lisa says, sir, may I introduce an American HR representative I met in my class to you? What's HR, by the way? What's HR? Well, of course, in English, HR stands for human resources, right? What is it? Insabu, is that right? I think so. I think so. It's like company language, right? So she refers to, of course, him as sir. And then she says, sir, boss, can I introduce an American HR representative I met to you? Mr. Lee, the boss, says, sure, go ahead. Right? Go ahead means okay, do it. Okay, do it. Lisa will say, Mr. Lee, this is Paul Miller. She uses Edom and Song, first name and last name. He's an accountant from the NBA marketing team in Munich, Germany. So he's part of a marketing team for a big sports company, American sports company, but he's based in Munich, Germany. I thought Miller is like a very German sounding name, so it might be American too, because lots of Americans came from Germany before, but I thought it sounded kind of German, so I put him from Munich, Germany. You know, Munich is a very large city in Germany. You probably know Bayern, the football team, right? Based in that area in Bavaria. So, yeah. So she says, this is Paul Miller. And she tells a little bit about Paul. He is an accountant. And Mr. Lee says, pleasure to meet you, Mr. Johnson. So Mr. Lee is a little bit formal at first. Remember, formal. He speaks politely, even though he's the boss. He doesn't speak shortly or rudely. He still speaks politely. But Paul says, please call me Paul, Mr. Lee. It's nice to meet you too. He says, well, you don't have to call me Mr. Miller. You can just call me Paul. Just call me Paul, okay? So he wants Mr. Lee to be familiar, feel familiar and friendly with him. We say in English, on a first name basis. On a first name basis. So on a first name basis will mean something like, you can call me by my first name. Something like, your parents call you by your first name, right? Your professors maybe call you Lee So-yeon or whatever. They use your song, your family name as well, but somebody who's really close to you is going to call you just by your first name. Okay, so this is review 2, which is peer to senior. And so what do you think the next one is going to be? I think you know. That's right. Introducing a peer to another peer. So there's 3 people again involved here. The first one is going to be somebody you just met, and you're introducing to somebody who you've known for a long time. So, Lisa, have you 2 met? Paul says, I don't think we have. So I don't think we've met. Joyce then says, we haven't been properly introduced. So properly meaning correctly. Maybe I've seen her before, I've seen him before, but we weren't really introduced. Lisa says, well, then let me introduce you. Joyce, this is Paul Johnson from London, England. Lisa says, Paul, this is Lisa Park from Seoul, Korea. Joyce and Paul together say, nice to meet you. Again, these are peers of each other, like a friend, people of your relative equal. So you've just met them, so you want to be polite, but you don't need to be very, very formal. In fact, most people think in a business situation, being too formal is not good for teamwork, right? It makes people too nervous. It makes people not really work very well. Of course, that's why in Korea you have the Hoeshik, and in Japan the Nomikai, right? This is the time where you can be not formal with each other and get to know each other better, right? To get to know each other better. Okay, so these are 3 different ways that you might have to fill in something on the test. Okay, this is an all fresh new test. Maybe some similar things from the quiz, but there will be some new things on it as well, such as this: introducing a peer to another peer, introducing yourself to another peer, introducing your peer to a senior. Okay, so 3 different ways to establish relationships. Okay, so I hope everybody gets this. So review part 2. We talked about lots of different things, haven't we? Not only did we talk about greetings, but we also talked a lot about sports vocabulary, sports verbs, how to speak about sports, how to have a business conversation in relation to sports. So I want you guys to remember the miscellaneous sports vocabulary that we studied. For instance, if you go back to the video for week 1, we talked about court, field, pitch, alley, track, rink, circuit, and racetrack. So you need to know we're going to say volleyball court or basketball court. And we don't say, baseball court or something. You need to know the differences between US and UK sports vocabulary. So in UK, they might say circuit, whereas in America, they say racetrack. They might say soccer field in America. In British English, they'll say soccer pitch or football pitch, actually, they would say. Okay, so be able to identify the differences between those. If you don't remember, go back and look. Go back and listen is even better. Okay, so sports related to expressions such as keep fit, take up, bulk up, and strenuous exercise. So there was something I think in week 2 where we talked about different vocabulary related to fitness. Fitness. So to keep fit means to keep your body fit, keep your body ready for sports. To take up means to start studying or practicing a new sport or new hobby, is to take something up. I took up pool. You say 당구, right? We say in American English pool. In British English, they say billiards. Bulk up. We remember some of you guys are really trying to bulk up, trying to be strong in the gym all the time, lifting, eating a lot of protein to bulk up, get bigger. I don't know about you guys, but these days I'm bulking up in the bad way. No time for exercise, so I'm getting fat. I have to show you my fat self on the camera. I'm so nervous about that. And strenuous exercise. We know strenuous means like strong exercise. Exercise that's likely to make you tired. is strenuous. And I want you guys to remember how to use various sports verbs. What's a verb again? 动词, right? So play versus do versus go. So you often will play a sport that uses a ball. So we play basketball, play baseball, play football, play hockey. But we do sports that are often like a martial arts, right? So martial arts like a taekwondo. We do taekwondo, do judo, do karate. Okay. And we go other sports. Like, so a sport that we have to go to like a special place to do, we go. So we go swimming, go skiing. We go bowling, even though bowling is a ball sport. We go to what we say is the bowling alley. The bowling alley. I think you guys say bowlingjang, is that right? In English, we say bowling alley. If you know well, alley means like street or road from the French word aller, which means go. So it's like a little street, right? You throw the ball down a street, like a small little street in the bowling alley. Okay. And then remember sports idioms that we've talked about. So like take a shot, hit below the belt, out of my league. Okay. So take a shot means to try something new, try something different, give it a shot. Hit below the belt means to do something that's like really bad, like not against the rules or against the rules of politeness is to hit below the belt. And out of my league means someone that's maybe too good for you, especially when we're talking about dating. She's too beautiful for me. She's out of my league. You guys know the league has very levels, right? So like we say little league, minor league, major league in baseball. So out of your league means somebody who's just you can't really get with, you can't compete with. So review part 3 is talking about business culture East versus West. This is a little bit tricky. We talked about some differences between the business culture in Asia versus the business culture in the West, particularly in the United States, as I'm familiar with it, in just some general things. This is an introduction class. So we talked about the high context culture versus the low context culture. Make sure that you remember what that is. So countries like Japan and Korea and Thailand are high context cultures. It's very important that you know the context of the situation to understand something. In America, in England, are low context cultures. So you need to, the situation is understood by like what people say, not just the situation, right? So somebody at work, you don't know that they're your senior just because they're older than you. They have to tell you that. Whereas somewhere like Korea, you always know that somebody who's older than you, not always, but very often, you know this person is senior to you and you should show them respect. So that's what we mean by high context culture versus low context culture. And we talked about that, and I wrote the Korean meaning I wrote the Korean meaning previously. Do you remember what is the Korean meaning? Do you remember what high context culture is in Korean? I think you do. I had written it before. I think it mean in Korean. I think that is 고맥락 문화. So something that's it's decided by the situation, right? And what is low context culture? What is a low context culture? Anybody remember? Well, You can check that in the previous PPT. So think about the traits of individual cultures, me culture, versus the traits of collectivist cultures, we cultures. So me versus we. Remember, it's important. Don't think about them as one is selfish and the other one is not selfish, or one is free and the other one is not free. It's not exactly like that. We know that there are very differences in that every culture is made up of people, and people all have their different opinions and different personalities. It's not black and white. However, we know generally individualist cultures, like in the United States and England and Germany, they value different things. They value uniqueness. They value something unique, making your own unique decisions, choosing your own unique styles. They value autonomy, that you make your own decisions. They value self-sufficiency. You can take care of yourself. And they value independence. You can make choices that are not related to other people, what they want, but your own wants. So this translates to maybe taking more risks in not being safe. In collectivist cultures, again, I use the big ones that are very easy: Korea, Japan, Thailand, Daegu. They value often working as a group. I think Korean major, sports business, you guys are really good at working as a group. In my university, I was friends with people who were in my major. My major was 교육, education. I worked with them sometimes, but it wasn't the same like Korea, where you know everybody's name and you meet them all the time and you go out and drink with them and it's very close. It wasn't. So in Korea, that working as a group is valued more. Selflessness, like the opposite, bande, selfish, selflessness. So don't think about yourself in the situation and what you want, but think about the group. Think about what's best for the group. To grow the company is more important in the collective cultures. And instead of the individual being the center, like in America, families and communities have the most important role in these cultures. Families and communities do. Again, there's exceptions, and I know many Koreans can be individualistic and they have unique personalities, and many Americans also can value their families and their communities more than themselves. But in general, for business culture, this is how we often think of it, and it's helpful to understand these things for business. And we talk about different customs, right? Business customs are important. Of course, in the West, we shake hands strongly. Nowadays, we don't shake hands in the West because COVID, but usually we shake hands strongly. In Korea, the weaker handshake is often, not always, but I find it's often more common, right? So customs are just different. We value small talk in business relationships. Small talk, talking about the weather, talking about food. This is small talk. Informal versus informal speech. Speech you use with your friends, speech you use with your peers, versus speech you use with seniors. Okay, so that is a form of a custom as well. That's also a form of a custom. Okay, in review part 4, grammar and language. So we also did talk about many grammar things in here, as you all probably remember. It's probably not your favorite part of this class, but nonetheless it's important because this is the sports business English class, and I'm always using some grammar that I think is going to help you with your business. So remember, we talked about the future. Two forms of talking about the future: will be versus going to or gone. So I'm going to travel to Thailand in the summer versus I will travel to Thailand in the summer. So if you look back at week 2, we talked about this grammar, and you were supposed to make a short video about this. Do you remember? You were supposed to make a short video about this, and I hope you guys have turned that in, and if you haven't, that you turn it in very, very soon. 2, talking about the passive voice versus the active voice. So Minju scored 7 points versus 7 points were scored by Minju. And you can check that in week 3 of your PowerPoint. Remember, we talked about passive voice is kind of important when you want to put the emphasis on the action, but not the person. So if we didn't want to blame somebody for something, so I might say, the report was late. Your report was late. Her report was late. Then I put the emphasis on the report and not Minju for being late. Okay, so it's another way to be polite and avoid blame in a business hierarchy situation. Okay, and another basic review: present simple verbs and their uses. If you look back at week 4, it explains all of this. So we use the present simple for habits. I eat pizza once a month. I fly to Thailand on holiday every winter. Okay, things that we do as a habit often. I watch Netflix when I have nothing to do. So we use that simple verb watch, travel, eat, present simple. For general truths, right? The sky is blue, pizza is delicious, Minju loves Taeyong. General truths get the present simple form of a verb. Itineraries and timetables, schedules. So class happens at 10 a.m. on Thursdays. Christmas falls on December 25th. So talking about when things happen, the bus comes on Saturdays at lunchtime. When something happens, a schedule, we're also going to use the present simple. Remember that and be able to write it on the test. Present continuous verbs, verbs that use ing. So they also talk about now, but they use a continuous form with the ing ending. So on actions that are happening right now. I am recording this lecture. You are listening to me. For temporary situations, it's raining right now. I'm not going to the game because I'm sick. I'm recording this now, but later I'm going to make dinner. So a temporary situation, something that's going to finish soon or finish eventually. And for future plans and arrangements, I'm going to America in the summer. I'm going to study at Harvard. We are studying at Harvard next month. So for something that's going to happen or we plan on happening, we're going to use the continuous with ing ending. Got it? Good. So be able to tell the difference in those things and when to use them and how to spell the words. If you look back in week 4, I give you a quick guide to spelling. So I am going to make sure if you have the spelling correct on your verb in the test. Okay. And review part 5, we talk about sports advertising. Just very generally, why is advertising important to business? Why is advertising so important to business? You guys are sports business, so I'm guessing you already know it's important for the image of the company. What image does Nike have in Korea? What image does New Balance have in Korea? It's important for revenue, right? That means the money, it brings in money. And that's related to marketing. They market their image, they market their advantages over other brands. They build a reputation. This is a cool brand. This is a brand for older people. This is a brand for women. This is a brand for who, right? The reputation. And word of mouth, right? People talk about the brand when they see this advertisement. So we say word of mouth. People talk about it. They talk about how cool it is or how useful it is, how good of a product it is from this advertisement. And remember the role of celebrities. What's a celebrity? Park Ji-sung is a celebrity, right? A celebrity player. David Beckham, LeBron James, these Saviola, Messi. So we know people with these brands with these people in it. They're telling you something. If you buy this brand, you're going to be awesome like these guys. And remember, what is a target audience? What is a target audience? Who are they trying to reach in this advertisement? Okay. Don't forget our Zoom meeting, April 23rd, 10 to 11:30. Join our Zoom meeting. This is our ID. You need to enter that in, and that's the website. You'll have to test it out and try it. And remember, it's not mandatory to come, but I really hope that you do come to our Zoom meeting for a bit so that we can talk, we can get to know each other. And yes, guys, I hope that I can see your face. I know many students, I don't know why, many students are really nervous that I'm going to see their face. Well, I don't know. If you don't want me to see your face, I can't make you, but I think everybody has a phone with a very good camera. You don't have to wear makeup. You don't have to have the camera on the whole time, but I would like to see your face. I'm going to show my face. So I would like you to join if you can. We're going to talk for maybe 40분, 40 minutes, and then it's going to kick us out, and then we'll come back in maybe 10 minutes later, and we'll join again. I think I want to test it. I'm not an expert at Zoom, but I want to try it. I want to make sure that it works well. So I want to just try it out. If it doesn't work, that's okay, no big deal, but I hope that we have a chance to talk a bit. I'm sure there's going to be many, many little problems, and their computer is going to break, or their internet is bad. It can happen. Maybe it's going to happen to me. I don't know, but we can try it, right? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least we tried and we got to talk to each other. Sports business, I think there are 19 or 20 of you, so I hope at least half of you come, maybe 10, that would be okay. We'll see, I hope. And don't forget for the Zoom class, I asked you, I hope that somebody will bring the homework from last week. We were supposed to talk about a sports ad that you saw, describe it, who's in it, what's happening. What does it look like? Maybe you have a picture of it you can show us. That would be awesome. How should it make us feel, this ad? Think about, how do you think it should make us feel? We're going to tell you if we feel the same. Who's the target audience? So who do they want to buy their stuff here? University students, high school students, a housewife, right? Or older players, or Korean players, or American players. Who is their target audience for this product? Do you think this advertisement is effective marketing? Why or why not? Does it work? Is it good? Does it achieve what it wants you to do? Does it build reputation? Do you think? Does it help their revenue? Why or why not? I'm going to tell you what we think about it too. So you guys are all the same major, so I think you know each other and we can talk to each other very easily. I know it's 10 a.m., it's kind of early. Many sports business majors, you guys are drinking the night before, so it's going to be a little bit hard for you, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to give it a shot. Okay. So please join us if you can. Remember, we're also going to do maybe a little bit of self-introduction. Tell us your name, where you're from, what your hobbies are. If we have time, in the perfect world, if Zoom works perfect, we're going to do all this stuff for almost 2 hours. If not, we might just do it 30 minutes. But it's important. I get to see you guys. I get to talk to you guys. You guys get to talk to me. And maybe we even have a chance to ask some questions about the test, because after the Zoom class is finished at noon, your test is going to go up, ready to take it. Okay, ready to take it. So it can be kind of an important time for us, right? It can be an important time for us. So it could be a good thing for you to attend if you are able to, if you're not shy. And I can judge your participation from it as well. I can judge your participation from it as well. Okay? Okay. Okay, guys, so I thought that it's possible that you may want to know the answers to the quiz. The answers to the quiz. So it's been like 2 weeks since you've taken the quiz, so I think that we should probably be ready to hear the answers now. There are a few students who did not take the quiz. I don't know why, but it's been kind of a long time, and so I think it's important before you guys do the test that you can hear the answers to this quiz. And since it's been such a long time now, I feel safe to do it. If you didn't take the quiz, well, that's sad, but it's only worth about 2.6%. If you're doing really well, that's good for you. If you're doing really bad, then you miss that 2.6%. It's not good for you, right? So please, whatever happens, please take the next one and turn in all of your assignments by the end of the month, okay? So the first question, multiple choice, it's about tense, right? Present simple tense. So my dad blank in an office. My dad blank in the office. My dad works in the office, right? Works in the office. So something, it's a habit that he has. So we could say working, but we would need the be verb. My dad is working in an office. That would also be okay. But the other ones don't really fit this situation, right? They don't really fit this particular situation. Okay. Question 2, again, it follows the same kind of format. The sun blank in the east. Right? Sun blank in the east, so simple present of rise is rises. Rises. So it happens, it's a basic truth, right? It's always true. The sun rises in the east. So of course that's why Japan uses the sun on their flag, right? Because it was east of everywhere at that time. So it rises in the east, and of course it's not past tense, so we cannot say risen or rose or anything. And I gave you guys 4 points for getting this one because I thought it was a little bit harder. Okay, and I changed this one here. Some of you had gotten it. The sun blank in the west. So the sun sets, so that means it disappears in the west, right? It disappears in the west. So therefore, set, not setting, but present simple sets. We just add the S to it. The bus blank Suwon at 8 and blank in Seoul at 10. So there are 2 different things here. So I decided to double the points for this one. The bus blank Suwon at 8 and blank in Seoul at 10. It should be the bus leaves Suwon at 8 and it arrives in Seoul at 10. Question, my dad blank in the office. Again, this is one that repeats. I'm sorry, guys. I had put it in here accidentally twice, but it was an easy one, so it was kind of like a free 2 points for you guys. Some student let me know that this was in there twice, and so I didn't go back and fix it. I just gave you guys like a free point. Hopefully you knew this one. Okay, we are blank to New York blank week. So we are flying to New York next week. But flying is a present continuous. It's talking about future plans. And then we talked about some different time frame words in that week 3 that explain when to use the present continuous. And one of them would be like next week, next month, next year. When we use these words, it's a hint that we're going to be using the present continuous form of the verb to talk about a future plan. Okay, so in this part we were supposed to match these idioms to their correct expression, right? So out of my league should have matched to number 1. To think someone or something is too good for you, not able to date them. So Ihyori is out of my league. I cannot get her. And that's related to baseball or football or any kind of sport where there is a league of some type. The next one is not up to par. Not up to par. Well, what is par? Par is, of course, a way of keeping score in golf, right? In golf or in miniature golf. I think we only use them there. Okay, and that's number 2. To not be of expected quality, be substandard or not good enough. Some students who didn't study, their quiz scores were not up to par with my expectations. So not quite good enough. Throw on the towel, that's of course is an idiom that's related usually to boxing. So in boxing, when somebody is being beaten very badly, the coach will throw in the towel. It means we give up, we surrender, we can't do anymore. So it's 3 to give up. The next one is to make the cut. So we talk about being cut from a team. It means you weren't good enough to join the team, so the coach cut you. It's kind of big in American high school sports a lot too. People are really worried about being cut. So if you make the cut, it's number 4, to be chosen to be part of a team or a group. So we can also use it not only when it talks about sports, but any group that we don't make the cut, we don't qualify for in work or school or in a contest or something. You didn't make the cut. Well, the next one is jump the gun. This is related to track running, right? Or anywhere where there's a race, they will often start the race with a bang, right? A gunshot.
So if you jump the gun, it means you start the task too early. You jumped in front of the gun. Actually, it's a kind of cheating when it comes to sports, right? When it comes to track, you're not supposed to jump the gun. If you jump the gun, you're disqualified and you can't win. To go to bat for someone, number 6. To defend someone in an argument. So another student was talking bad about them, or another professor was talking bad, but I really went to bat for them. I defended them, right? To defend them, to help them out, to speak up, say good words about them is to go to bat. And of course, bat is related to baseball. Bat's related to baseball. The ball is in your court. That's number 7. It's your decision or choice. So it's related usually to tennis, or maybe to basketball, or any sport where we play with the ball on a particular side of the court. So it means it's up to you now. Your choice. The ball is in your court. To drop the ball, number 8, is to make a big mistake. Wow, he really dropped the ball on that. He got an F on his report. He just didn't prepare. He dropped the ball. We were expecting them to score a point, but he didn't score. He dropped the ball. And to take a shot is to try something new. Try something, especially something new, is to take a shot. I might ask you in class if you want to answer the question or help me out with something, and I might say, Kimoon, how about you? Just take a shot. Give it a shot. And of course, that's related to any sport where we're trying to make a goal in football, basketball, or something. It can be used in business or any kind of activity. Okay, and to hit below the belt, I think we already mentioned earlier, to hit below the belt is to do something very bad against the rules. It's related to sports like boxing and so on, where you hit somebody below the belt. It's a very sensitive area. So most contact sports, they say you lose a point if you do it. Nowadays we have UFC. There are kind of no rules. I don't know how I feel about that, right? But there are kind of no rules, so it doesn't have the same meaning anymore. But generally, to hit below the belt, yeah, is to do something that's not good. Like if I make fun of your boyfriend or girlfriend or something, or if you call somebody, hey, you're fat, it's mean. It's not a really good way to interact with somebody. It's hitting below the belt, breaking the rules. Okay. So I was really surprised. Some students got 20 points on this one. They did pretty well on this. So definitely good show for some of you. Some of you guys, you couldn't remember that one. So if you're one of the students who had trouble remembering those, I suggest you go back and look at those PowerPoints again, okay? Go back and look at those PowerPoints again. And you might need a review, right? You might need a little bit of a review. Okay. Okay, so in this part, we're supposed to choose all the sports that use the verb go with them. So remember, we usually say go to something where we have to go to a special place to do it. Right? So bowling, we go bowling. Skating, we go skating, right? We go to a skating rink to do it. Surfing, we go surfing. We have to go to the beach, go to the ocean to do this. Swimming, same. We have to go to the swimming pool or go to the lake to do it. In sledding, we have to go to like the mountain or the hill to do those. The other ones we don't think about in that way. We think about usually they're using a ball or they're a kind of a fitness activity. We don't go them. We play those. We play those. So I might ask you these once again in the future on your midterm test. So I hope you remember them. Some of them might be on there. Some of them might be on there. Okay, and now choose all the verbs, all the sports that use the verb play. Again, things that use a ball are usually play. So we play football, play American football. This is a little bit different. This is sometimes considered a competitive sport. It's not a really active sport, but chess. Chess. You don't think chess is hard, but I know sitting here and recording these videos for you guys, it can really hurt your back. You need to be into shape. And I remember that Bobby Fischer, the American chess champion in the 1960s and 1970s, he was like 14 years old. He became the world chess champion. But he said it was really important to keep his body in shape because sitting for like 7 hours playing these chess games, it was really big stress on his body. So chess is, in a lot of ways, it's a kind of sport. It's just a sport where you have to use your brain a lot, right? So we usually say play chess, play jangi, and so on. We also, again, play dodgeball, pigu, and we play table tennis. Anything that has a ball, we play. Got it? Okay. The next one, it says, please choose all the sports to use the verb do. This one's a little bit more tricky, but generally for things like martial arts or fitness activities, we're going to use the sport do. We're going to use the sport do. We're going to use the verb do for this kind of sport. So remember, martial arts are like fighting arts, right? Like kung fu and so on. So we do boxing, or we might just box. That one's a little bit complicated, but I gave you a point for that one. We do aerobics, like a fitness thing. We do judo. I used to, you guys say judo. We do karate, and we do weightlifting. So remember again, sports or like a fighting activity, fighting sports, or like fitness activities that you do at the gym. We always do these. And I think these fit well with the Korean verb. What do you guys say? Tanda, right? Like you guys usually say you do skiing or you do football and so on. So this one fits the Korean verb, I think, a little bit better than some of the others, right? Some of the others. So some of these, a few of these, I might put a few of them on the test. Okay, so these are the score analytics. So average is out to 76%, but 28 people took it. And you can see, more than 10 people got A's. So A's were pretty high here. A few people, they did get F's, just a few. I don't know why. I don't know what happened with those students. Sometimes it's just hard to take a test, right? It's hard to take a quiz. But the good news is this is only worth 2.6 2.6% of your score. It's kind of a participation score. Okay, since we don't have class all the time, I don't get to see you guys participate. I use this as your participation score. It's kind of like I knew that you were taking part in the class, you were listening to the lectures, so that you did well. You did well. Okay, so I like to see that a lot of people did well and that only a few people did bad. It's not over. It's just the quiz, but remember the test is going to be more important. The test is going to be more important. So I just wanted to show you guys this to know that people got many, many different scores. But I was happy to see the biggest score was usually A's on this. The biggest scores was usually A's on this. Okay. So if you did poorly, don't be upset. There's many more chances. There's still many, many more chances to do well in this class. We're going to have the midterm. We are going to have more homework assignments. We're going to have another quiz. We're going to have the final and maybe some kind of presentation if I can fit it in there. I want to do the presentation, but we have a kind of strange semester as you already know, right? As you already know. So don't take it to heart. It's just a score analytics. I wanted to show you where you are as far as scores go. Okay.
So don't forget, what do we need to do for the near future? I've been trying to be a little bit more free, and I'm not making your assignments very strict because I know it's a little bit difficult, but I know also that it's kind of easy to forget about online classes, right? It's easy to forget because you don't have to come to class or anything, and you're not with your group of friends and nobody's reminding you. But I'm trying to remind you every week about what you guys need to do, even if I'm being a little bit more free about when you do it. But I do want your assignments to start coming in because I know there are some students who have not, they haven't turned in many or all of their assignments, right? So their grade is going to suffer about that. I didn't push too much about it, but I'm reminding you guys every week, please turn it in, okay? Um, So first of all, please turn in your profile assignment. We mention this every week, and some students are turning it in, but they didn't use any form. They just wrote a couple sentences to me about their introduction. No, 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 no. I want you guys to use the profile paper. Go to Kwajimul profile assignment, download the profile, put your photo on it, and fill it out with lots of information, okay? I don't know, some students are not watching the whole video or they don't know what they're supposed to do, but I think I said it a few times, so I really want you guys to do this. This is a part of your homework grade. So please do that and upload it. Not everyone has done that yet. You should have done it though. Don't forget to please upload your video of 6 sentences talking about your future goals. Some students have done it, but not many. You should do it as soon as possible. I think it doesn't take just 2 minutes, right? Just 2 minutes to do. I can judge your ability to speak those sentences. That was kind of your practice for the quiz and for the test, right? So please upload it. I've already given some scores to people who have turned it in. Good job, those people who have turned it in. You cannot take the quiz anymore. We've already gone over the answers. So some students who didn't take the quiz, you lost that 2.6%. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I have to be a little bit strict because if we let people have unlimited time to take the quiz, then it's not really fair, right? It's not really fair. So you cannot take the quiz anymore, but you can see the answers, and that can help you to prepare for the midterm, because many questions on the midterm will be kind of similar, right? Many questions will be kind of similar. Please study for the midterm. Look back at the videos for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and week 5. I already told you about most of the things that are going to be on there. We went over most of those things again today. So I think there's no reason that anybody won't know what's on the test. I might put a couple of other things that we mentioned in there that we didn't talk about today, but they're all going to be things that come straight from our video lectures. So there's no reason to not be prepared. You don't need to turn it in until when? Well, by April 27th. So that's like you have a few days, 4 days to take this midterm test. Okay, 4 days to take it. So you have some time to study for it. Again, I'm trusting you guys. I think sports business majors are very honest, honorable, because you know how to play a game, right? You know that every game has rules, and if you break the rules, it's not really winning, right? You're basically a loser if you break the rules. So my experience is sports business. You guys understand the rules really well. My experience with you guys. So I know I don't have to tell you, please take the midterm test alone. Don't use your friends, but you can use the PowerPoints, the videos. You can look at them. I'm okay with that. Look back and find it. But again, you're going to have to know the material a little bit, right? You're going to have to know the material a little bit if you're going to be able to take the test quickly in under 2 hours. Remember, you only have 2 hours to take this test, right? You have just 2 hours to take this test. And of course, if you're watching this video, I hope you have attended or will attend the Zoom class, our Zoom class, so I can get to know you guys. I know some of you already. I met you before, so that's good. However, I hope I get to see more of you and talk to you. And yes, I would love to see all of your smiling face as well, unless you're wearing the mask. I know everybody's wearing a mask nowadays, so maybe I won't see your smiling faces, but I hope to. And I hope we can just talk about anything. I can get to know you guys. We have something to do. This is just the we're kind of testing, trial of Zoom and see how it works. If Zoom goes really well, we're going to start to do it not every week, but every other week, every 2 weeks, so we can get a few Zoom meetings in. I know you guys are busy, so I'm not going to force you to come to Zoom, but I really, really think it's going to be good because this is an English class, right? This is an English class, and the only way to get better is if we're talking and using English. Okay, so please complete these things. Please take the midterm, turn in your stuff, and I hope to see you very, very soon in the Zoom class. Okay, take care of your health, everybody, and see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.